This is so important that we're just going to keep Lindsey for the rest of this third hour. We may even have to do a part 2 coming up tomorrow or next week. But everything Lindsey's covering from his top globalist source has either come true or partially true. And everything he's saying, I can analyze from the outside, and we've been predicting for forever. And now it's here. But from the analyst I've talked to, from my own view, we know the top globalist, above even the banks, engineered this bubble to then hold the world hostage, to bankrupt all the pension funds, to steal all the retirees' money, and then hold you hostage and say, give us even more power, let us raise taxes to prop all this up or it's all going down. But you notice as you prop it up, it just continues to cascade into more crises. And in my notes here, feds will own every mortgage in America. That's the plan. The globalists make the money on the way up. Then they get the mortgages bailed out 2 years ago, again and again and again. And then it clouds all property rights law, not just here, but all over the world. And they'll say, okay, we'll fix your mortgages. But they already passed a law 2 weeks ago that Obama hadn't signed yet. He pocket vetoed it, meaning he can bring it up after the election in a few weeks. And they're saying he's going to do that to allow banks to take houses without proper title. So that's the pitch. Oh, we'll fix all this. We'll fix the banking system or it's all going down, but let us take property without any real deed, without chain of title. And then the precedent set for even more looting and stealing. Then we have the executive orders of Bush and Obama saying for any crisis, including economic, and PDD 51, the Presidential Decision Directive says the same thing. The Congress can be suspended for 6 months. The president can do anything he wants. Europe has passed similar laws. We're about to go to break, Lindsey, and then take calls, but finishing up with the mortgage issue and what he told you.
The elitists have engineered this. They know exactly what they're doing. They want a crisis to grow so big that they're basically just waiting until it can grow so large that they can say to the Federal Reserve, you've got to bail us out. Of course, they'll do it through the Treasury of the United States of America, like they've done the other bailout programs of GN and Chrysler and AIG, and they'll say, there's no way. The world is going to collapse. The sky is going to fall in. And so as a result, you can expect in the future, and this is what the elite want, they want the government to step in and bail out these mortgage-backed securities, and it's going to take an original bailout somewhere between the tune of $2 and $7 trillion. That's the original bailout. It could go as far as $45 trillion if they bail out everything that's out there. Now, what's this going to bring about? Oh, this is the scary part. Whenever this happens, now this man told me 2 years ago, and I couldn't comprehend what he was saying. He said, after 2 years, you will be so poor. And he said, again, after 2 years, nearly everyone will be working for the government. Folks, when they bail out this mortgage-backed securities issue that we've got right now, the elite will own, folks, are you getting this? The elite will own every piece of mortgaged real estate in the United States of America, both commercial and residential, and you will make your house payment to the elite because they will own it through the Federal Reserve, which they are.
And that's how they're taking houses that are they're even taking houses that are paid for because the note was sold to so many people, they're all coming to get it. And
that's right. If you have bought a house within the past 3 years that was repossessed, you probably do not own clear title to it, and they can come in and take it. You will be their slave. Oh, Alex, I don't know how to say to these people.
No, that's how it works. The government, Israel and the U.S. releases the worm, then says we got to take the web over. They create the mortgage crisis and then say we got to take over to save it, and then it only gets worse. I mean, this is what they do.
Yes, and folks, I plead with you. You've got to know the intricate details of this. I know on the Alex Jones Show, I'm giving it just very briefly. You've got to know the intricate details.
Well, stay there. We're going to come back, take calls. We got you for the rest of the hour. There's a lot of other issues he told you and more details we haven't gotten to. After calls in about 30, 40 minutes, we will get back into more of the information, more of the details, and some key issues we haven't covered yet with Lindsey Williams. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Why did I make Fall of the Republic? We detail the banker takeover, the mortgage scam, their plan, the carbon taxes. It's all covered in my film, Fall of the Republic. America's Last Stand, Make the Choice, Liberty or Tyranny. Fall of the Republic documents how an offshore corporate cartel is bankrupting the U.S. economy by design. Leaders are now declaring that world government has arrived and the dollar will be replaced with a new global currency. This has been out now 8 months. President Obama has brazenly violated Article 1, Section 9 of the U.S. Constitution by seating himself at the head of the United Nations Security Council, thus becoming the first U.S. president to chair the world body. A scientific dictatorship is in the final stages of completion, and laws protecting basic human rights are being abolished worldwide. An iron curtain of high-tech tyranny is now descending over the planet. A worldwide regime controlled by an unelected corporate elite is implementing a planetary carbon tax that will dominate all human activity and establish a system of neo-feudal slavery. The image makers have carefully packaged Obama as the world's savior. He is the Trojan horse manufactured to pacify the people just long enough for the globalists to complete their master plan. This film reveals the architecture of the New World Order and what the power elite have in store for humanity. More importantly, it communicates how we, the people, can retake control of our government, turn the criminal tide, and bring the tyrants to justice. And it's got Oath Keepers, expanded bonus extras, and a lot more. This film needs to be seen by everybody. Sure, you know all about this as listeners or as prisonplanet.tv viewers, but your friends and family who laughed at you 5 years ago, they're not going to laugh now. As Ron Paul has said, it's so critical to expose the globalists and that they've engineered this in their own words and own documents so that people know who to blame, or the globalists will pose as our saviors. Get Fall the Republic at Infowars.com. Obama deception covers a lot of the same issues, but again was made a year and a half ago. It's all important. Infowars.com. prisonplanet.tv. You can view it and download it and burn it to give it to people. Put it on Access Television, have public viewings, make copies. Please get it out. Infowars.com or 888-253-3139. Now, Lindsey, when we talked to you yesterday, I challenged you. I said, look, you've written best-selling books. You've made DVDs about what this guy told you. We don't have time for you to wait a month and do that. You need to make an audio CD going over all of this so it's concise. And you said that you're stepping up to the plate in the next few days and getting that produced, because an audio CD can be done in just a matter of days. I'm glad you're going with that idea. When this CD comes out, or any of the previous DVDs you put out that predicted all this from your sources and your main source, how do folks get a hold of that?
Please call our toll-free number right now, as quick as you can after this program. Now, don't cut off. Don't you change this dial. You stay right where you are. But after the program, please call our toll-free number, 888-799-6111. Now, there's some people that would prefer not to call an operator. And by the way, all of our operators are American operators. You won't hear any foreign operators. If you'd like to go on the web, please go to prophecyclub.com, prophecyclub.com, and 6 DVDs, 8 hours of DVD viewing, everything that the elitists have told me that will take place through 2012. Everything. Please, the toll-free number, 888-799-6111, or on the web at prophecyclub.com. We have the 6 DVDs. We have a CD that we will update almost weekly now, and with all of this new information we're giving, get all of it. I beg of you. And by the way, my DVDs and my CD are not copywritten. Did you understand what I said? They are not copywritten. That means you can copy them, give them out to your friends, get them out everywhere you can. I don't have time to be greedy. Will you please get my DVD set, 6 of them, and my CD set, which is being made today? The number 888-799-6111.
Okay, Lindsey,
we're or prophecyclub.com.
Absolutely. Now, I want to get to calls, but I've got one more question before, and after we take 30 minutes of calls or so, where they're going to get into some of the other things he told you that we haven't gotten to yet, and some more details on the other big 6 or 7 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items. We haven't gotten into the religious world takeover and the fact that you may be bringing him to Christ and waking him up as he dies of cancer. But to be specific, this may be the last info we get from this guy. It's so important, and it's really proven to be very accurate. And then we'll recap it as well. But why do you think he's telling you all this? He called you up 2 years ago to threaten you and say, stop doing this to the oil companies, but then he gave you all this other data and said, go ahead and tell folks that if you want. I
gave 3 years of my life to be the chaplain to the elite of the world on the Trans-Alaska Oil Pipeline, and there were 2 of these individuals that were very friendly with me when I was there. Some of them could have cared less. They wouldn't have wiped their foot on me. There were others, 2 of them, that did. I think it's totally out of respect for who I probably am the only person of my kind that these two individuals have ever come in contact with in their life. You don't get to these people. You never get to know them. You never get to talk to them on the phone. And I think, Alex, out of respect for what I did in being their chaplain and keeping in touch with them these 35 years, they're giving me this information. But you've also got to consider deathbed repentance. Now, please, you remember what happened to the thief on the cross? Christ was hanging there and two thieves were hanging there. And one of the thieves looked at him and said, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." It was deathbed repentance. And I think that this individual has, for the past 2 years, knowing that he was sick, now knowing that he's terminally ill, I think that he has given me things that otherwise I would never know. Basically, as you have put it, spilled it all. And this is why I think they're giving me this information. You're getting the latest. You're getting the update. You're getting what the elite are doing right now, what their second plans are, and everything that they're going to do from this point on.
Absolutely. Let's go right back. Absolutely. Let's go to these calls now. Let's talk to Tim in Virginia. Tim, you're on the air with Lindsey-Williams. Go ahead.
Lindsey, I heard a lot of different topics you talked about, and you touched base about the trade agreement between China and Russia concerning oil. Well, in my opinion, that's one way of the Chinese hedging their bet against the Middle Eastern conflict. But the same standpoint, Russia is not part of the world economy. They'll export oil and platinum, but as far as Russia is selling oil to China, China is going to have to pay for it in gold or silver. They won't accept the ruble because the ruble's a joke. As far as this NAFTA trade agreement with a common currency in the U.S., that would be totally ludicrous for the U.S. due to the fact that all the drug dealers across the border in Mexico would just love it. Boy, they'd have a common currency, and it would be hard for our federal government and our FBI to trace the funds that these
hold on a minute, Tim. This is in the news that China and Russia have signed this deal. Hold on, I want to finish, Tim. It's on record that China is exploring oil and gas, even in Texas. I mean, they're in Africa. They're in the Middle East. They're everywhere. They're in Canada. They're everywhere. And they're looking for oil and minerals. They're now the biggest extractor of minerals in the world. They're building all the big facilities. They're putting in the mines. Last time I saw, more than half of the mining going on in Australia is the Chinese. And almost all the new startups are Chinese. So all of that is going on. And then we have the North American Union plan. We have Robert Pasteur at the CFR's plan. We have the Baylor Agreement with Bush and Fox and Paul Martin at the time 5 years ago. So everything Lindsey was saying on that front, I mean, that's all public. So I mean, China is trading raw materials, and they've also got dollars, euros, yuans. I mean, they're flush with cash to buy whatever they want, and these deals with China and Russia are on record. I mean, what are you saying, Tim?
Well, I'm just saying that you don't hear about a proliferation of Chinese imports going to Russia. You don't hear about all these Chinese goods that we have here in the U.S. We don't hear about them in China or in Russia. You know, you don't hear about those goods, the cheap goods that we import from China that are on our stores and our various retail establishments across the country. You don't hear about them inside of Russia.
I mean, Russia is now the biggest oil and gas producer in the world. Just search the term. Russia now the biggest oil and gas producer in the world. It's ABC News. I mean, you name it. I mean, I'm really having trouble getting at what you're saying here, Tim.
What I'm saying is that
value was given to the deal that was made between China and Russia. And the reason no dollar value was given is because the dollar is not going to be used. They'll find their own method of barter and trade or currency, whatever they wish. But the main thing is,
no one can deny. Hold on. No one can deny.
Russia and not other things.
No one can deny there's a move away from the dollar. I mean, Tim, sum it up. I got to cut you off here in a second, but sum up what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that Russia could manipulate the U.S. economy any way they can. They can sell gold below market price and make a profit. They could sell it at $600 an ounce.
No, I understand.
And they would still make a profit.
Okay, Tim, I appreciate your call. Jack in Tennessee, you're on the air. Jack, go ahead. Jack dropped off.